Hi folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. Today I'm going to talk about the 2024 Tacoma and cover some pricing. I'm also going to cover some discrepancies that I found in the equipment, and so this may help probably be a huge benefit for you when you're looking at trying to find that perfect vehicle. But anyway, a couple things I wanted to talk about. Number one, the allocations. We just got our second round of allocations. The first round that came out, there was only a few vehicles. Looked like most of them were headed to the East Coast. I'm here in the Pacific Northwest, and of course you can see we got some beautiful liquid sunshine today. And that's obviously the reason I'm sitting inside. But the second round, we got quite a few more allocations. But what I'd seen is the first round looked like a lot of the vehicles were being built on 12/5. And the second round, a lot of them weren't being built until sometime in January. And so it looked like they just kind of got a few out to each dealership in the initial round, and then the next round is coming out, but there's going to be a little lag time in between. So if you're trying to find a vehicle, be prepared for most of them starting to show up in February. Anyway, that will just kind of help you. Second thing I want to talk about. You're going to have some dealerships are going to tell you that they can actually order a vehicle for you, and Toyota is not set up to order any vehicles. We ran through this with the Tundra. If anybody doesn't already know, I do actually work at a Toyota dealership, and so I can see what's going on with the inventory and allocations and things of that nature. So if when that time comes, if you actually put a deposit on a vehicle and you're waiting for it to come in and you would like for me to check the status for you, go on ahead and send me the VIN number. I'd be more than happy to do that. But the point I was trying to make is that there's going to be some dealerships tell you that they can actually order a vehicle, which they can't. They can put in what they call a preference, and a preference is kind of like a wish list. It will allow them to put in all the equipment and stuff that they have. It's up to Toyota whether they actually build that vehicle or not. So the first thing to understand is, number one, they have to have an allocation for that. So for instance, if you're looking for a Tacoma TRD off-road short bed, that's going to be a model code of 7544. Unless that dealership already has an allocation for that vehicle, that won't be built. Now, TRD off-road is pretty common, so that shouldn't be an issue. But let's say, for instance, you're looking for a specific color. A lot of the vehicles, and I'm going to kind of go back to 2023 model. So what we find the most of in the Tacoma is you're going to have white, black, silver, gray. That's going to be probably the biggest majority of the vehicles that you're going to see coming in. So if you're looking for instance, the new color, they're going to have supersonic red as one of the possibilities. If you're looking for that specific vehicle, it may be harder to get that vehicle than what it would be like a white, gray, silver, or black. So keep that part in mind. There is what they call a boss change. And so let's say, for instance, a dealership has a vehicle coming in and it's not going to be built until February, and the color right now is white, but you'd like to get the supersonic red. They can put in what they call a boss change, and they can request to have that color changed. Now, if it's within a 2-week window, so meaning if you're within 2 weeks of that vehicle being built, the chances of getting that color changed are almost slim to none. If you have more than 2 weeks, and the further out, the better chances you are, because what they do is they select those boss changes on a weekly basis, and it's usually Monday of each week. So, like for instance, if they put in the boss change, prior to Sunday, and then on Monday they'll see whether they actually accepted that change. If it's, like I said, less than 2 weeks, it's probably not a very good chance it will happen. If you have more than 2 weeks, there's about a 25% chance that they'll accept that change. So the types of things, the types of changes that you will see in a boss change, or could be exterior color, could be interior color, could be some packaging, bed lights. It's not going to change it from, like for instance, if they had a TRD off-road long bed coming in and you want to change it to a TRD off-road short bed, that's not the type of change that you would get in a boss change. So be careful about that. And going back to a dealership telling you they can take an order, we have dealerships and some in a local vicinity are actually telling customers that they can order the vehicle for them. It's going to take 9 to 12 months, and it's a non-refundable deposit. Number one, they can't order the vehicle. They could put in a preference but chances are what they're going to do is they're going to take your non-refundable deposit. They're going to call you when they get something similar to that, and that's why they're telling you the 9 to 12 months. When somebody has an order, or when there's an order coming in, the vehicle can be built in a day. So a lot of times we can see allocations, generally I would say anywhere from 30 to 60 days prior to that vehicle arriving at the dealership. Sometimes when the dealerships receive allocations, they already have the vehicle has already been built, and then they just drop the allocation into their order bank. But then there's other times where we can see it where it may not be built for a month, and then, thus being the 60 days. So you got, 30 days until it's time for it to be built, and then 30 days till it actually shows up at the dealership. So that's kind of the time frame here in Oregon anyway. So that kind of covers allocations. But like I said, if you have a VIN number of a vehicle you put a deposit on, send it my way. I'd be more than happy to check the status for you. Now, I want to talk about pricing. So I did a short the other day, and one of the things that we saw is that the base model, base MSRP, and Toyota now calls it TSRP. So if somebody uses that terminology, that's where it's coming from. But anyway, the new base MSRP on a Tacoma TRD off-road went up $3,415. So it was like $39 and some change. Now it's at $42,900. So there's a significant change right there. And then also in the packaging. So here's another example. So TRD premium off-road package, $8,800 for that package. Now, I did find discrepancy in that. I want to show you. So here's an example. This is they're both on Tacoma TRD off-roads. They're both 2024 model. TRD premium off-road package includes leather trim seats, heated front seats, auto headlights, moonroof, premium audio. This one has the 8-inch touchscreen with navigation and the 6-speaker JBL audio system with amplifier. Now, here's one. Another Tacoma TRD off-road. It is a 2024 model. You see the price, $4,640 for the package. The TRD off-road upgrade package includes heated seats and ventilated 8-way power adjustable seats. Now, we haven't received any information showing whether it's going to be heated and ventilated seats or just heated seats. So on the Tacomas in the past, they were only heated seats. So you see the discrepancy. So this one's $4,600 and it says you get heated and ventilated seats, where this one says you get leather seats, but it only says it's heated seats for $8,800. That's going to confuse a lot of people. I got to looking at that and I'm thinking, well, I could save some money and go for this one because it's going to have heated and ventilated seats. It doesn't say whether they're leather trim or not, but I've never seen a cloth interior with having ventilated seats. Could be something new, but I just haven't seen it. So anyway, when you go to put a deposit on the vehicle, I don't think, number one, it's not the dealership's fault because they just don't know. We're having to go by the information that we can actually see on what we call a V-spec, which is a detailed list of equipment. But as far as pricing goes, is this pricing legitimate? MSRP is $56,802. That particular vehicle before would have cost you around $48,000. So that's about an $8,000 add, on the new 2024 model. And there again, we honestly don't know what to expect as far as equipment. We can see what you see on the V-spec, but as you can see here, that's a huge discrepancy. So it's probably not information you wanted to hear. I'm just trying to help people protect themselves. Don't put a non-refundable deposit, number one, because number two, you don't know exactly what you're going to be getting. If this is the type of thing that we're getting from Toyota right now, excuse me, and we can't even tell you exactly what equipment's going to be on the vehicle, is their pricing 100% accurate? They have not posted any residual factors yet, and that would be for lease information. And I think that they're just trying to figure out, what kind of resale value is the vehicle going to hold, number one. We saw that with the Tundra. So for instance, I have a 2022 Tundra, and it had a really high residual value, which made my lease payment actually really cheap. The within 6 months' time, they had totally adjusted that residual value and it went way down. And so anybody after kind of that first round, within the first few months of the vehicle coming out, if they tried to lease one after that, the payment went up substantially. And so what I'm finding out right now is that my lease is up, and obviously the market has changed. The market's dropped quite a bit, but where I should have been at a break-even point, well, right now I have about $6,000 of negative equity if I was to trade the vehicle in. Well, obviously the nice thing about the lease is that I can just turn the vehicle back in and walk away from it and not have to take that negative equity with me. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And obviously I was looking at getting a new 2024 Tacoma too. I'm trying to figure out what packaging I want to go with. I have a limited now, so I have the Softex, but then I have the heated and ventilated seats. I got the panoramic sunroof. I have a lot of the nice amenities to the vehicle, but it's difficult to figure out what the new Tacoma is going to be like. Some of the things that we do know, obviously you have the availability of getting the 14-inch screen on the new Tacoma, and that's what you see here. I currently have Apple CarPlay up there, so that's what you would be seeing too. But you got dual climate control. You got the big buttons here. It makes it easy to find, especially at nighttime when you're driving and trying to operate things. This is a Tier D off-road package, so it does have crawl control. If you're comparing the crawl control on the new Tacoma to, like, for instance, a 4Runner or the previous gen Tacoma, it is so much better. It's so much quieter. It's smoother. It's far more seamless, and I think it's a much better experience than what you would have before. I have the analog cluster here, which I know a lot of them are going to be coming out with the digital display, and so that's going to be different. I want to talk also briefly about the new hybrid system. So a lot of people, when they think of hybrid, they think Prius, they think RAV4 hybrid, Highlander hybrid, things of that nature. And so with those, you have hybrid, meaning you have two powers. So you obviously have a gas engine and you have an electric motor. Now those models can all run independently. Excuse me. So when I say independently, the electric motor can actually assist you or do most of your driving when you're around town. Obviously that's why they get better fuel economy in town. Anything over 55 miles per hour is mostly gas engine. The new Tacoma and also the Tundra hybrid are totally different. So they are not designed where they can actually run on electric alone. What they are there for is an assist. So on a regular RAV4 hybrid or a Prius, they have an electric motor, they have a gas engine. Well, you have a electric motor that's sandwiched in between the transmission and the engine on the new Tacoma. So it is there for assistance to give additional power, but it is not set up where you can actually run on nothing but electricity like you could in the Prius, RAV4, or Highlander hybrid. So big difference. When people think about hybrid, they're thinking about, wow, it's going to get great fuel economy. Well, it will get a couple miles per gallon better than what the gas version will, but that's about it. And that's what we saw in the Tundra as well. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about buying one. Also, the hybrids are not going to be coming out until spring. If it kind of follows this trend that we're looking at, it could be a little bit longer than that. And then keep in mind that, people will say, well, I'm going to wait and get a Tacoma TRD Pro or the Trail Hunter. Those are going to be a very limited availability, and probably in the very beginning, they're just going to come trickling in a couple at a time. And they're going to have a substantial markup on those, so be prepared for that. What we have seen, and this started with the Tundra, is that when the Tundra came out, they trickled in and we pre-sold them, and it's been 2 years. We finally are starting to get a few more of them in. We still don't have a lot. Now I think that they will end up building more Tacomas than what they did the Tundra, because obviously they sell a lot more. But I think for a while, I think probably the first year, they're probably going to be pre-selling everything that they get in allocations. And so I wouldn't expect to see any on the lot for a while. And then as far as, getting a great deal on one, they're probably a lot of dealerships will mark them up, I guarantee. So anyway, I don't know if that helps you or discouraged you. I'm just trying to give you, factual information. And this is what we see from the dealership standpoint.